everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we have a huge book haul. So I did not get to haul any of my books from December, which was not a ton, so we are going to run through those today as well. But I also have 20 books to haul in January. Hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, hopefully this is like one of the biggest months of the year, especially because I am focusing on getting down my physical TBR, so things that I buy that are physical, and all 20 of those books are physical books. Those are the things that I'm looking at more closely, trying to read more, trying not to spend as much. Part of the reason I actually have 20 books to haul in January is I spent money at Barnes & Noble last year, and I'm doing it again this year. Last year I saved $1 for every book that I read, as well as any book that was on my TBR for my TBR games that I did not read, and I earned $200. I then went to Barnes & Noble and spent almost exactly $200 there. So I'm thinking and hoping that this is going to be like the biggest book haul we have, especially for physical books. The books that I'm actively tracking, actively trying to read down. One of my goals this year is also to read like 50% of the books that I haul. So that is what I'm trying to do as well. So yes, we have a lot of books to go through in this video. 20 from January and 5 from December. So again, 5 books in December, that's where I would like to be throughout the year. We'll see as we go, but let's do that. Let's jump into December 1st just to get those out of the way, and then we will get into everything else. So the first book that I have here for December is The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. This was a gift from my friend Kirsty over at KBeth Bookish. I am so excited to get to this one. From my understanding, it is going to be romance, paranormal romance type of thing, where these two characters, one is Hart, one is Mercy, are like in this like town in between Living and Dead or something like that. Like it's gonna be fantasy, romance, paranormal romance type of stuff. What? What? I can't see. That's a lettuce? Uh-huh. You dig it?
No, I'll bite it.
Oh, okay. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay. Elliot's being interesting today. Fantasy romance, paranormal romance, something like that. I've heard good things. I really do want to get into this one. The next book I have here was the Afterlight book for November, I think it was. It came in December though, which is Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. This is going to be a sapphic holiday romance. Based on when it came in and how much things I was not reading in December, I did not get to this one, but I do want to try this one. I'm pretty sure this is going to be some sort of like second chance romance. There's some sort of music as well, but like our two main female characters in this are exes, like they had been together previously. So we'll see how this goes. Then the next two books I have here are both in the same series. It's this here. So we have book 4, Heir of Frost, and book 5, A Queen of Ice. These are both by Elise Kova, and these are in her Trial of Sorcerers series. I don't know if that's actually what the series is called or not, but these should be the last two books. Heir of Frost came out like in 2023. A Queen of Ice came out in 2024, and I get these from the author, signed from like her Etsy. So that's part of the reason I got them both at the same time. I somehow missed the pre-order for an Heir of Frost the year before, but I get them with a signature. One thing I really do love about Elise Kova, these are her independently published books, but this is the actual naked hardcover of like her standard print independently published books. I will say the dust jacket on an Heir of Frost didn't come folded the right way at all. It was so off. So I've been trying to fix it. It's bugging me a little bit, but I think I've gotten it mostly fixed. But this is a series where you have like elemental magic, like they're in this school. It's definitely gonna be like more new adult type of series, maybe a little bit of young adult. I think I have it on the young adult shelf, but as they've been going through, obviously the characters age up, and it looks like I think we have a love triangle situation going on too. I just remember really, really loving the first book, and the third book. The second book was still really good, but it has a slightly different vibe, whereas like Magical Trials was like the main reason I was in it for the first book. Both book 1 and I think book 3 as well had some like twists and turns that I wasn't expecting, and I just have been really enjoying my time with this, so obviously I had to pick up the last 2 books in the series. And then the last thing that I got in December is my next Shadowhunters, a Season of Shadowhunters delivery. So this was part of a Kickstarter that I did in 2023, and we got our first book in 2024, and then like technically we got our second book in 2024 at the very end. We have 2 more books coming that'll probably be in 2025. And so yes, this one that we got for this month, I don't think is going to end up on my TBR because it is a book that I've already read, but also it's not like a book you can read. The first thing that we actually have in here is the Matthew sticker that we were missing from the first box. So we now have that, which has Charlie Bowater's art. And this is the pretty edition that we have here. Let me take it out of the plastic wrap, but this is an illustrated history of notable Shadowhunters and denizens of Downworld. So we have the pretty new cover. It's not a very big book, obviously. And when you go under, like, they went all out for these editions. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's the same thing here. We go under. Here are some flower end papers, because basically these are the flower cards that Cassandra Jean has been doing for years. So like some of these I think have been updated, most notably like Cordelia Carceres, and they have Alistair Carceres, because when this was first done originally, and I do have the old one. This is the old one. A History of Notable Shadowhunters and Denizens of Downworld, told in the language of flowers. When they did this originally, it was back before any of the Last Hours books were like finalized. So this is from 2016, and so like Cordelia is white. This was before Cassandra Clare changed her ethnicity, like where her mother was originally from, and so they had to then change everything else. So like, I have the old one, which I have read and loved, but now we have the pretty new one, and I think this is going to include other characters that like we have not seen yet. I don't know exactly how many of these things are going to be. Also, this older one was broken down, I think, into where they were in the books. Like, they had different series were in different places. This one looks like it's just alphabetical by last name, unless they only have one name. But so, yeah, I will definitely be looking through these, but it's just art and information about like main characters and side characters and people that you will see throughout the books. That's what this one is. So this one is not going to be something that like goes on my TBR, especially since technically I've already read and loved a previous edition. But yes, it is absolutely gorgeous. So that was everything for December. Now let's jump into the January stuff. So the first stuff that I have here, I went and sold some children's books at Half Price Books. It was stuff that we had in the kids' library that we didn't really need anymore, things that were too young even for Elliot now. And while I was there, I used the credit to buy some books, and I spent a little bit of extra money for these books myself. I think I only spent like $6 or $7 total after that, but I was able to get 5 books. So the first 2 books that I have here are Fantasy of Flight and Fantasy of Freedom by Kelly St. Clair. This is book 2 and book 4 in this series. What is this series? I don't remember anymore. The Tainted Accords. That's what it is. I read book 3 last year, gave it 5 out of 5 stars. One of my favorite books of the year. I read books 1 and 2 previously, and I own book 1. Both of those were like 4.5, like still really, really good. Book 3 I gave 5 stars, and I needed also book 4 because I definitely want to, I think, read it this year and finish out the series. They had books 2, 3, and 4. I only got books 2 and 4 because they were like $5.99 each, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm totally gonna do that. Book 3 for some reason was $15. I can probably get that a new copy because that one actually was the worst looking out of these as well. It had some stained edges. like somebody spilled coffee or something near it. But yes, this is a new adult fantasy. It does get into some romance later in the series, like especially going into book 3 for sure. But it's very political as well. We have this like ice world and fire world and people trying to, you know, overthrow the other. And I just have been really, really enjoying it. So again, I needed these when I saw it. I just was not going to pay basically full price for book 3 when it was the worst looking copy out of the bunch. Then I also picked up 3 books in the EverWorld series. So last year when I went to Leavenworth, they had a Friends of the Library book sale and I got 3 books in this series there. I got like book 1, book 3, and book 7 or something like that. So while I was at Half Price Books, I found 3 more. Again, I'm just picking these up as I go, so I don't know when I'm going to read them, but they're short. They're like modern day classic, like YA sort of stuff. So I did pick up book 4, Realm of the Reaper, book 11, Mystify the Magician, and book 12, which is the last one, Entertain the End. So I now have like book 1, 3, 4, 7, 11, and 12. We're finding these as we go. K.A. Applegate is the same author as Animorphs, which I have never read. It was just not something that I remember a ton of people reading back when I was in school. I know people did, but like Goosebumps was like the most popular. I was also really into like Babysitter's Club and the Boxcar Children. So I do want to read those eventually, but I know they're more children's and middle grade, whereas these are some sort of fantasy, portal fantasy type of thing, YA. So I'm just collecting these as we go. We'll see when I get to them. But again, because I had credit at Half Price Books, I got everything pretty cheap. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I did go to Barnes & Noble and spend like almost $200. That's the next things I want to show you. Because of that, I did a haul in that video. I'm just going to run through these very quickly and leave that other one linked down below in case you want to know more about anything else. I picked up Ring by Koji Suzuki. This is the novel that the movie, Ringu, and the American adaptation, The Ring, was based on. Mr. Magic by Kirsten White. This was in the horror section, and I do believe it has to deal with some sort of like children's TV show. Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries by Heather Fawcett. Cozy fantasy with fairies. Like, I definitely want to read this one. Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne. Another cozy one. Should have some sapphic romance vibes, and I think later in this series, because it is a series, we get pirates. Bookshops and Bonedust by Travis Baldry. This is the prequel to Legends and Lattes, and I absolutely loved Legends and Lattes last year. One of my top books, so I had to get it. House of Frank by Kay Sinclair. This is an indie book that says it's going to be dealing with space to sit with grief and reads like a warm hug. Again, going to be some sort of cozy fantasy with that, and yeah. The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. This is another cozy fantasy. I picked up a lot of those. I don't know too much else about it except for it's been on my radar for a while and I really do need to read it. Inkheart by Cornelia Funke. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. This is a very classic sort of children's middle grade fantasy. Like, I remember absolutely loving the movie adaptation with Brendan Fraser. Never read the books, but I want to. Cry of Metal and Bone by L. Penelope. This is the 3rd book in the Earth Singer series that I have absolutely been loving. I loved books 1 and book 2, so I need to continue. And then also the Murderbot Diaries, Volume 1 and Volume 2 by Martha Wells. These are collections of the novellas. So this first one has All Systems Red and Artificial Condition. I've actually read both of these already before. And then this one has Rogue Protocol and Exit Strategy. I have not read these 2, but I need to. It's sci-fi. I love these, so yes. So those are all the ones from Barnes & Noble. Like I said, I did talk about them more in that video. I spent all my money, basically. The next thing that I picked up was Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. This one is the Target exclusive edition. I don't think I realized how crazy things were going to be to get this one. I personally just sort of liked the 1 dragon on the edges better than the 5. That was literally my whole thing. I was able to put a hold on for this one and was able to pick it up that day. My Target didn't seem too crazy. But yeah, there was a lot of controversy around this one. I read Fourth Wing in January, absolutely loved it, 5 out of 5 stars. And I own Iron Flame, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and get this book. If I can't, oh well, like I was not gonna be upset at all. But I did get it, and like I said, the main reason it was just because I liked the edges better. Oh, and it does have a map, which I don't think the other one did. And then actually the last thing that we have here is a Rainbow Crate box. So this I do believe is the Rainbow Crate for January. I'm being very picky with the book boxes and books that I get. So based on the synopsis of the books and like what's gonna come in, and Rainbow Crate actually does spoil everything for you and give you like all the details of like what sort of LGBTQ characters and like representation we're gonna have in the books. I did decide that I wanted January. I think I skipped February. So let's see what we have in here. We have our spoiler card here. And we actually have things in foam. Like, do you guys, usually we have like tissue paper. I don't know how I feel about a foam thing on there unless they were really, really worried about damage to the books. I guess based on the fact that this box is bigger with the foam, like the books are very much suctioned in there. Okay, well let's see. Oh, that's cute. I don't think I showed you guys that or noticed it. It said, caution, contents include your new favorite books. Ooh, those are gonna be really nice. Okay. It is harder to get off with the foam thing, but like they were suctioned in there, which is great. They are also plastic wrapped, so let's do that. Okay, I'm really, really liking the covers on these. And the covers were pretty good originally as well. Okay, so let's see. The first one that they announced was this one, so we'll go with that one first. Okay, so the first book that we have here is Outdrawn by Deanna Gray. So this is actually very similar to what the original was. It was just a slightly different pose of the characters. I'm curious if they got the exact same cover artist, because it really looks like that to me on the paper. Here is the spine and the back and our edges. Like, I'm really, really liking this. The pencils and notebooks and stuff actually travel all the way around, which is great. And then we do have, oh, the original cover. Here we go. On the naked hardcover. I do really appreciate that. I really do like this dust jacket, but I like that we had the original as well. Let's see. End papers. Okay, these are very cute. And it's the same on both sides. Okay, so based on everything, this does say it's going to be new adult contemporary romance. Spice level is a 2 out of 5. That should be good. And then one of my favorite things about Rainbow Crate is we have nutrition facts. So they don't give you like a summary on here. They give you the nutrition facts. So that's what we're going to read to figure out what we have here. So this has 320 pages. Representation is Black characters, lesbian, bisexual, carpal tunnel syndrome, and gay. Genre, new adult contemporary. Plot, rivals to lovers, workplace romance, hot girls riding motorcycles, art competition. Demographics are 100% adult. So even though they're saying new adult, they're like definitely saying it's more adult than young adult. But because they said new adult contemporary, I was hoping that they were going to put maybe new adult on that instead. And then point of view, first person dual point of view. Yeah, this looks really, really cute. I'm excited. And then the other one we have is You and I Rewritten by Chip Pons. So like, again, loving the cover here. This one I do believe is more different than the first one. Our spine. I love the like holographic nature. Here's the back. And our edges have a bunch of books, which I love. And again, it does go top and bottom. And so this one has, again, the original underneath. Again, really, really appreciative of that. Again, with the hollow, I like that a lot. The back has a quote. Did I show you the back of Outdrawn? I don't think I did. Let's see. Back of Outdrawn also has a quote. Okay. For our end papers, ooh, very, very nice. And is it the same? It is the same on both sides. And then again, because I think I forgot to check, this one at least does have a signature. And actually, so does this one. So one thing I will say that I've noticed, especially now that we're going into 2025, I did not get the last month of 2024, but for this month here and for what I've seen for what they're going to be doing in February, it does look like everything now is indie published. Whereas in 2024 and 2023, I think I started getting these like in 2023, something like that. we would always have a traditionally published book that just had like a new dust jacket put on, and an indie published book where they would do this, where they did like new stuff everywhere. I think they're now going into, they're gonna do 2 whole books, top to bottom, getting it done. But because of that, they are gonna be just indie published books, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but just keep that in mind. This one on our little spoiler sheet does say the spice level is a 1 out of 5. And again, we have little nutrition facts. So for this one, it says 265 pages, representation is Achillean and gay, genre is romance, plot is workplace romance, insta-love, overcoming familial trauma, no third act breakup, demographics are 100% adult, and the point of view is first person. So with the fact that it has less spice and it says no third act breakup, I'm hoping this is going to be like very cute and adorable and like fluffy cozy type of stuff. So yeah, I'm really into this. Like I said, I'm always very picky about like the books that I get out of book boxes. So I do like indie, especially like indie romance and things like that. But I'm not going to be getting all of them. Like I said, I think I already skipped February for Illumicrate, February for Rainbow Crate. I think I'm gonna get the Afterlight though, but like everything else I'm skipping. So that was the last one that I have here. Like I said, I am trying to make sure I'm not getting too many books throughout the months. So hopefully this was the longest one we're gonna have. And 3 of the books that I have in this stack, including December, are not going on my TBR, because obviously the Shadowhunter book, not really a book you can read. I will go through it and look through things, obviously, but I also already have a copy that's just an older edition that I have read. And then I have 2 books that I bought in January that are already on my TBR. So if we are only including January, there are 18 books going on my TBR, but I almost made that even in January, actually, with things that I read / DNF'd. I'm almost even. So hopefully we just keep that reading spirit up throughout the year and we're good. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye.